Welcome back. All our top stories can be found on our website. That's channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb. Visit m.channelstv.com to see us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. We'd also like to encourage you to use the Eyewitness feature in the Channels TV app. If you have pictures or videos you'd like to share with us, tap the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions. Concerning the South, meanwhile, renowned economist and managing director and chief executive of financial derivatives company, Mr. Bismarck Rwani, has been reacting to the increase in minimum wage announced by the Edo State governor. Mr. Rwani told Channels Television that the move might have been prompted by the efficiency of the state's fiscal policy. He says the state government has encouraged investment rather than rely on bureaucracy and advised other state governments to follow suit.
Probably has a much more efficient fiscal system. That is because Edo State has actually encouraged investments rather than just being bureaucratic. Edo State, as far as I'm aware, has huge investments from Guinness, has investments from the Dangote Group, has investments from other transit organizations, pipelines, and Edo State is actually a hub. That is a transit hub for east-west traffic and south-north traffic. Edo State has history, has culture, has industry. Now, Edo State has an economic management team that is led by somebody from the private sector. So their view of things is much more proactive and much more strategic than you will get in some other states. They do not have a bloated civil service. More than anything else, the governor is a product of the union movement. So he is able to see things from different perspectives.
Considering the relative decline in the industrial sector over the years and close of businesses for want of infrastructure and other factors, workers and analysts are asking the federal government to review the nation's fiscal and economic policy to revamp those industries. In this report, our correspondent Temple Osaju looks at that situation against the backdrop of the May Day celebrations.
That some industries have either collapsed or relocated from Nigeria is no longer news. The factors often responsible for their circumstances are the absence of infrastructure and high exchange rates of the naira, which leads to high cost of production.
The company closed now, this very month, make it to be 40 years. This company closed down.
The manufacturing sector contributes less than 5% to the nation's GDP. This is as a result of epileptic power supply, poor road networks, and other macroeconomic headwinds.
Cotton were very expensive. The power was not, all that available. When we use generating sets to run, to do production, it's always very, very, very expensive.
It's difficult to get a commercial result from a structure that is built on public sector bureaucracy. And that, I think, must have been responsible for the kind of failure that we are seeing with most of the public enterprises. Then on the private sector side, there are recent developments arising from the shock of the collapse of oil prices, the implications for foreign exchange.
This concern is brought to the fore on this year's May Day celebration. Workers are worried about the closure of factories and production plants, some even after privatization.
You know, those countries by nature didn't go comatose, but government came out with a policy of trying to hijack them. You know, because there are things that if you are in government, you cannot steal, but you can steal money. And when you now steal money, you use the money you stole in government and buy those things.
Other steel industry that have been privatized, they have all closed down completely. Like, just name them, Katsina Steel Rolling Mill, Oshogbo Steel Rolling Mill, they have all closed down. So they are not working, just Steel Rolling Mill too.
Reopen all the Texas companies and factories that were closed. 2 is to make the cotton farmers to help the cotton farm to grow more cotton for our artisans. 3, it should stop importation of fabrics.
Quite a number of state-owned enterprises have been privatized with a view to realize their efficiency, but it appears this effort is inadequate.
Some of the privatization processes that have not worked, they have not worked not because they were privatized, but they have not worked because some of the processes were also not transparent. The quality of the privatization processes were also questionable. So what we now had was that we had people who possibly didn't have the capacity to run those enterprises.
With various internal and external factors, Nigeria's industrial sector seems to be held hostage, as a result, leading to rising unemployment profile. Companies' collapse can create inefficiencies in the job market of an economy, but like analysts have stated, perhaps the review of fiscal and economic policies will be able to help create a better and enabling environment for public and private companies. Temple Ashaju, Channels Television News.
From industry across the states to the environment, and this is in Abia State. Residents of Nkata Ibeku in Umuahia East Local Government Area of Abia have cried out over the devastating effects of landslide and erosion that has claimed lives and is threatening their existence. According to them, they are suffering the mishap caused by negligence on the part of some contractors that worked on a federal road years ago, but were inconsiderate to channel the whole drainage towards that area. They're calling the state and the federal government to intervene quickly before the rains begin really to stop their area from being washed away.
Nkata Ibeku, a semi-urban settlement in Umuahia East, Abia State, with a population of over 3,000. The inhabitants are mostly civil servants. With the serene environment, residents rely on cultivating staple food crops in their farms within their compound and cherish the communal lifestyle. But this is about to change now because of the threat of landslide and erosion. The suburban community now live in fear because of the anticipating damage any rainfall may bring to the area. Some of them have no option but to restructure their houses to avoid it from collapsing.
The government just ignored us. They ignored us. If you go to the back of my distance, you see I have spent money to protect this little house I put there. You see. And many other things. Everybody is suffering. Nobody passes here. Even we have policemen and other civil servants living here. Nobody passes around here when the rain falls. And in fact, if you come here to watch when heavy rain falls and have the weight of the flood, you just pity everybody who is living here.
Some residents can only access their homes through a makeshift bridge because erosion has made some areas impassable for cars.
As we are now, we have no option except to plead for the federal government to come to our rescue. If you leave this thing, in the next raining season, you will see that there's no car. Just look at here. It's our management. We have been doing it every cleanup day or every week to see that our car can park in or people can walk through this community.
We can only plead for federal government to see how they can assist us, because when you look at this bridge here, it's not a bridge that a state or maybe a village can do. So we are pleading the federal government also to help to make sure that we can be able to rescue the life of our people, because it has taken us time.
The state government is aware of their plight and has promised to look into the problem.
I want to assure you that before the rainy season, if nothing is done in terms of comprehensive work this season, before the next season, I can assure you that everything that needs to be done would have been done.
Relevant authorities in charge of road construction will do well by properly studying the environmental impact assessment of areas before embarking on any work in the future to avoid the spate of erosion.
News across Nigeria. Stay with us. Coming up, politics in Anambra State and the Nigerian Navy at almost 60.